centuries later is when our story begins.
How is it that I might help you?
Yeah, that.
I think I have the highest one.
You do.
You do.
Hello,
I'd be very
everybody,
concerned.
Hi.
and welcome back to System Agnostic. Chapter 3, Episode 2, Shattered Memories.
Whoa.
I am your GM for the evening, Steven, he, him. As we all know, GM stands for Game Master. Very simple thing. And I am joined, as always, by my lovely players who are slowly ascending into madness. Starting as...
Ascending or descending?
Oh, it's an ascent.
It's an ascent. Number gets higher.
Woo!
Starting with Sadie.
Oh, shit, right. You warned me about this. Hi, I'm going first. Jeff, please design the next chapter so that I don't have to go first.
You should expect this by now.
You think so? I don't. Hi, my name is Sadie. I use she, her pronouns. I should more likely use the pronouns dumbass, because I never remember.
Dumb
I always go
ass.
first. Steven asked us to give our insight numbers. What's my character's name again? I just remember I'm wearing a Rosalina
What's my name?
dress.
We're that far
Name
gone.
again.
I woke up from a nap like 10 minutes ago.
Not my fault.
I think you're the one with
Happy
the annoying
Thursday,
French
folks.
accent.
No, that's Brett.
Yeah, you've got one too. You don't remember?
Hi, everyone. I'm playing Nuria Moranin. She uses they, she pronouns, and she only really keeps the she because she has a lady title to keep. Steven asked us to also say our insight numbers, and out of 6, my post-it note says I'm at 4. That doesn't... I don't think that's good. I don't know. She's dressed as Rosalina, and the reason I believe she is descending into madness is because, if I remember correctly, she's currently being pulled down to hell.
Well, currently being pulled down. We'll see about the rest of that. Jeff.
Hi, I'm Jeff. Use he, they pronouns, and I am playing the character of Arlo Retznum, who is a hunter of sorts. We're all stuck in a manor that I've already forgotten the name of. And my insight right now, I'm at 1, which I assume is really good, but I wouldn't know because I thought we were playing Call of Cthulhu till halfway through last week's episode.
Whoops. Angela.
Hey, I'm Angela. She, her, playing Desena Thorn.
Can other people hear
also-
Angela?
Angela froze.
Fall for me.
She's fine for me, so we're going to get through the introductions because OBS says it's fine, and then she's going to refresh.
Oh.
Okay.
We do this.
Yeah,
really,
so-
guys.
Woo!
She, her. She is a medical scientist currently at Sanity 2. She hears pretty music, even if it's all in her head.
All right, Angela, please refresh so our other players can get their acts together.
What?
Finally, Breck.
I am Brett.
Mute yourself.
Good intro,
my-
Brendan. That's all you get.
Cool. Pronouns. I play Taurus. The Nielsen chef. And human candle.
Nope.
I have 2 flames for hands and
Still
1
no.
candle on my head. Croissant.
If you say it enough, it'll come true, Brendan.
Where's
Don't
your
worry.
insight?
Oh, I'm tracking it in the Discord, in our shared group chat. and it's a 2.
That's why you typed that earlier. I was confused.
That way everyone knows how I'm doing.
Everyone knows the number 2 is important. So, where we left off. Our players have entered after being invited to Paraska Manor, a noble house in the city of Domve. They met several people, including the Lady Myra Duskar, her knight, Sir Siva Concord, and Artak Bolt, who thought he was being hired and was just not. They had some conversations, got buried in snow, and separated. Some to go to the kitchens, find their coats, some to find a place to warm up, and one just finding herself in the music room, getting dragged beneath very quickly piling up snow by a hand of ice.
Who's that idiot?
Ice hand.
But of course,
Hand of
we
ice.
never start with these characters because that's too easy and nobody likes that, and by nobody I mean me. So, we begin several centuries after this game's events technically happen. Still in Paraska Manor, which has been turned into a museum in Domve, housing artifacts and just the history of the event, whatever that may be. As the tour group begins making its way through the different halls, the tour guide looks very exasperated at that guy, TM. Yes.
Hello there, I am Brendan Lee Mulligan. I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Mulligan.
Where is the restroom?
The restroom is actually through these doors.
Did they have outhouses back then, or is it?
Several places were making the transition into proper indoor
plumbing. Great, good
a
to
lot
know.
already had some manner of it, given just magic's capabilities at the time. But
Is indoor plumbing not a magic in and of itself?
I mean, it is, but it is a technological wonder, really. Less a bending of will that must be concentrated upon, and more something left to machinery and pipes.
Okay, good to know.
Yes. But to answer your question, we are coming up on a bathroom. So if everyone who needs to go, please feel free to relieve yourself.
No,
Yes,
I am
everyone.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
We can keep going. Oh,
Are these E10 bathrooms?
Are they what?
Are these E10 bathrooms?
What? I don't know.
rated
what that
E
is.
for everyone.
E10 these nuts!
Wow, I love teenagers. Okay, if anybody needs to go, now is the time. You watch as the elderly couple in the group makes their way in, one of the teenagers, and the man with the holy symbol. Directly across from them is a mirror. Shining, glistening, it's old. Older than the house itself. It would be familiar to one character. One who currently inhabits it, in a way. Kiri. You are frozen on OBS again. Why do you keep doing this?
Yay, she's frozen on stream too, so I feel vindicated.
Well, that's
All right,
why.
cool. I'm gonna go get a snack.
How dare you? Let's try this again. Sorry, folks. OBS. There we go. Kiri. I don't know what Curie thought death would be like. I don't know he would have thought a lot of it would be just waiting in his mother's study for something to happen. Your sister came through
Definitely.
long ago. Gave you the chance to leave. To go with her to whatever truly lay beyond. Two things potentially could have kept you, and then I'm going to ask if either did or if there was another reason. You know your mother has been trying to get out of the contract with the Devils, the problem being that shit's pretty binding. They're very good at that. Though she's confident she'll soon be out, and had asked if you wanted to wait for her. The other part is, while Caravox did help end the infernal emergence, that wasn't it. That wasn't enough. It felt like there was more for the weapon in store. Though only your mother ever really saw it, aside from maybe you yourself. Do either of these things cause you to wait? Or is there another reason?
Well, I have a question too, and that would sort of tell me the answer. Is the Curie that's waiting now the same one that the Genasi looked at and said, "When you're ready, find me"?
No.
Okay.
Though those
Then in
words
that-
do ring in your head sometimes.
Okay. Okay. Then in that case, primarily the first, because he probably would have spent the rest of his life trying to figure out what the hell happened and repair that rift between the two of them. And yeah, if she would have asked, he would try to stick around for her. Although, I think there's also a curiosity about the second. If he felt there was more of a purpose to Caravox, he would also kind of stick around just to see what that would be.
Okay. You're kind of waiting for a bit until the door opens, and much like that memory in the smoke, your mother enters. Exasperated, burned in several places. But, much like yourself, deceased. Gods, darling, never sign a goddamn contract. It's very rarely worth it.
So I take it things are going well.
Oh, they're done. I don't know who that person was, but somebody negotiated me out of it. My soul is
Really?
free.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter who did it then.
Only what they're asking, right?
True enough.
I didn't think you'd stay.
There were times I wondered why I did, but honestly, we had such a rocky start, and it appears that it didn't have to be that way, and I sort of maybe had something to do with it. Maybe that was the least I could do.
I won't say whether or not you bear any blame in the matter. That's not for me to decide. I should have told you the truth. But it felt easier to let you hate, let you forge your path. At the very least, it Took you far away from the one I'm on, or was on. Kept you safe.
That it did.
When you were born, there were complications. I'm not going to go into much detail, but you died.
Okay.
Very soon after. I couldn't bear that. So even though I had promised myself I would not barter with the same entities that your father worked with, I would despite deciding that, that's what I did.
Okay.
Told them to bring you back, and they did.
I wish I could say that it was a terrible decision because I saw what it did to you and the family. But
Family.
it also gave me
Go ahead.
it also gave me a second chance at life. So in a way, also thank you.
If I'm being honest, dear, the family was doomed from its conception. From the first member who signed a deal.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
But good did come of it. Or good may come of it. And at this,
May?
she kind of waves her hands, and the fireplace roars and begins to glimmer. The fire has been unlit since you arrived in the study. And in the flames now, you see images, people, dressed strangely, talking about bathrooms. You see one laughing like a donkey or hyena, you're not sure which.
That one looks like a
Mix of
dumbass.
both. And you see two elderly folks, a young girl, teenagers, and a man strangely dressed but wearing something you're familiar enough with, a holy symbol. One that, for whatever reason, even now it fills you with this strange mix of power and unease. This is what's happening now in the land of the living, near an old artifact of mine, scrying mirror.
It's a neat parlor trick.
Most of my power didn't come from them, dear. It was all mine. But you remember the weapon?
Could I forget?
It's in the same building as this group. And it may finally play its part. Me, for my purpose. My end of the deal that got me out of the devil's bargain. is just a witness. You can
Well-
stay if you like. Meddle if you like, though. Our power is limited.
I've been here a while. What's a little longer? I can stick around.
She smiles and waves her hand again, and two decently padded armchairs appear in front of the fire. She sits in one, offers you the other.
Yeah, he sits down.
And as you sit, you watch. And you look into Paraska as it is in modern day. And then we move back in time. To our game. To 466 PR. Toos. You and Artok stand in front of a hole in the wall.
Oh, what could this be?
One that
Is a hole in the wall.
One that continues to whisper and call. It's time to come home.
Come home. Interesting. Attack.
Yeah?
Should we go home?
I don't really think we can. There's a lot of snow in front of the door. I live kind of far, and I'm not really
Do you not
dressed
hear
for...
the voice?
What?
Do you hear the whisper? It says, come home.
No.
Sounding more like a Nandor. Come home.
No. I just hear you repeating it.
Maybe I am repeating from down the hall, from, I don't know. Shall we go check it out, or shall we find somewhere else?
I mean, it's a hole in the... What? Like...
A hole in the wall is a pretty good lead, I would say.
Sure.
I think we should check it out.
Okay.
Attack! Let's go!
Oh no, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
I doubt it. Oh, why would you die? Oh, why?
No reason, I hope. I'm not gonna die. You're right, it's fine.
This is an attack. I am French.
French Italian.
It's very nice.
The border keeps moving around.
We're all going to hell.
What are you doing, Toos?
I enter the hole.
You climb into the hole.
I'll make sure Artak goes first.
You push Artok into the hole.
Oh no! Oh no!
You
I
kill
get out
favorite
my
NPC.
spoon for protection. Watch out!
You hear Artok thump on the other side.
Alright, you have fun.
As
I walk in.
you have to climb in, and as Artok discovered, there's a bit of a drop on the other side of this hole.
Oh! Are you okay? Artak.
You see basically a pile of clothing. Presumably he has gone into fetal position upon landing and is not moving.
How far down?
Not very far. Shouldn't have hurt that much.
Oh. Get up, Artak. You are not dead yet.
Do you land on the floor?
I try to jump across the hole.
Yeah, very easy. You find yourself in, land, Are you aiming for Artok to soften your landing, or are you just getting
Oh
past
my
him?
god.
No. I do not land on Artok. That would be so rude.
You land on the other side of Artok. The bundle that is him does not move.
Artok, I suggest that you wake up. Artok. I kick it. And I kickers.
You kick, and the
Just a
pile
little bit.
of laundry kind of falls apart a little bit.
Oh, not Artok. Maybe Artok must be somewhere else.
Come home.
Where is the wholeness of fire?
Dinner's getting cold. Come home.
I am sort of hungry. Artok, you're really scaring me now, buddy. I saw you jump down here, and Artok, is that you making that?
1, 2.
All right, I am coming. And I'll continue down the path. Whatever, is that there's a path? Or is it like a laundry chute?
Strangely enough, you've fallen into what appears to be a boarded up hallway rather than a secret room. But you start down it and start making your way through the walls of the house. The voice ever present calling. Though the count is paused now that you appear to be in motion.
I do not want to know what happens when it gets to 3. Twa.
No one ever does. Desena, Arlo. You two make your way back into the entry hall. Desena, the music somewhere upstairs, you think? Maybe? It sounds ever present. Like you've always known this music. But it doesn't sound familiar. It doesn't sound like something you could sing. You don't even know what the names of the instruments that are playing. You have never heard something played like that. But something about it is so familiar. And you and Arlo stand in the main entry hall. The doors are still closed, though you notice some snow getting in just somehow between the seal. There is a giant puddle from the snow that already made its way in when the door was first open. And in the center, kind of between the two staircases that lead to the second story, the strange pixie statue. Arms outstretched, eyes kind of red in the light.
Are they still holding the rose?
They are not. Instead, their arms are separated. One hand holding an arrow. The other just outstretched and open.
How long do you think it
Kinda.
takes to carve something like that?
Yeah, that's what you're asking, and not why is it not holding the rose that it was holding when we came in?
Oh. I guess I didn't notice what it was holding before. Now it's holding an
Why
arrow.
would they change your statue?
Are you sure it wasn't holding an arrow before?
I am sure. I'm very sure.
I'm gonna take a closer look at it. You'd be like, no, it's just a still statue, probably. Pretty sure it was always holding an arrow.
Roll a d6. If you're willing to risk your mind, roll 2.
Sure. It's a 3.
Is your insight die higher?
Oh, do I roll a second die?
Did you roll a second die, or did you just roll 1?
I just rolled 1.
Okay.
Do I roll? I'm confused by this mechanic. So I get.
You get
I might
1.
garner some more insight by risking.
If you risk your mind, you can roll the insight die. But if you're not risking your mind, then it's just the 3.
This seems important enough to be worth risking it. And I'll roll another one.
Okay.
Okay. Second one I rolled was 1.
Okay, so it is the lower of the 2, so you don't have to make an insight check. You can choose to stick with the 3, or you can roll again. Rolling both die.
Okay, what does that mean? My current insight score is 1. So I want it to be higher than that? No clue.
The higher it is, the more of your mind you are losing.
The higher it is, the more in my mind I'm losing. I guess I'll stick with what I got then. Doesn't sound like a good thing to lose my mind.
Okay.
I'll stick with a 1.
So, it's a 3. You do take the higher of the 2.
Oh, I thought you said lower. Okay. Yeah, I'll stick with it.
Okay.
At this rate, I'll roll something higher than 3.
All right. With a 3. You gather a couple things. One, they either switched statues or the statue has moved. You didn't pay attention to what was in its hands, but you paid attention enough to know its hands were stretched in front of it, palms up. Now its arms are to either side of it, holding it like, I can't do it in this screen, but like here, but all the way stretched out.
Mm-hmm.
One hand clasped around an arrow, the other one open and empty. So either they changed it or the statue moved.
So now it's like holding on to a shooting arrow? Like a bow and arrow?
Looks like it.
Okay.
With a 3, it's also looking at you.
The arrow or the statue?
Statue.
The arrow's pointing at me. It's one of those comedic ones they use to advertise TV stores. Spin it around on the street corner.
The statue is also staring at you, Desena.
Is it like, are the eyes red, like you said before? I do not remember doing that.
Arlo, what is it looking at?
Either me or this awkward package I'm carrying around.
Because I'm pretty sure it's looking at me.
Nuh-uh, it's looking at me.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Maybe it's one of those. I'm gonna try and move side to side and see if the eyes follow me. Might be
The
an
eyes
illusion.
don't. The head does.
No, it is. Okay, that's a very cool trick. I think I've seen this before.
I think you need to make an insight check now, Arlo.
Fuck. Okay. I've seen this in other haunted mansions. It's like they built the inverse of the head.
Arlo,
so
I'm gonna need
it looks like it follows you.
I'm not asking Jeff, I'm asking Arlo. How many haunted mansions have you been in?
This is the first mansion I've ever been in my life.
So many haunted mansions out in the forest.
What'd you roll on the insight die?
I rolled a 3.
Your insight goes up by 1.
Damn it. So what I meant, so what I went to 3 before for my previous roll because I risked my sanity,
So,
or I'm going from 1 to 2.
if you choose to risk your mind, you roll an extra die. If that insight die is higher than the other one, you have to make an insight check.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, so we didn't worry about it. This is just not a normal thing and stretches Arlo's insight a little bit. So he had to make the check. Because you rolled higher than your current insight, your insight goes up. So it is at 2.
My insight's at 2 now. Yeah, I'm learning the rules of Call of Cthulhu slowly but surely.
This is Cthulhu Dark, not Call of Cthulhu. You
What?
are not learning any rules of Call of Cthulhu.
Are you sure?
Absolutely not. Anyway.
I'm a little insane. Apparently.
You watch as Angela freezes on OBS. Arlo, the eyes, the whole head is moving, staring at you, unblinking, unfocused. Descent, the head has not moved for you. It is staring at you. And then you watch as the right blue eye shatters into a puff of gem dust that scatters across the ground. Descent,
What do you want? Why are you
else
staring
shatter.
at me for?
It sounds like the song you're listening to just shatters. Like the thing you're listening to it on is being damaged.
Okay. Is the music still playing, though?
If you could call it music, it's disjointed, broken. I'd also like you to make an insight check.
That's a 3.
Your insight goes up as the disjointed melody begins threading through your mind. My apologies, Arlo, I interrupted you. What are you saying?
It's just like going back and forth, trying to like lose the eyesight of this thing. I was like, what do you want? Why are you staring at me for?
The statue, now missing one of its eyes, continues to stare silently. Arrow pointed up the stairs.
Like trying to. Is there anything in particular up the stairs the arrow might be pointing at?
There's a hallway.
But the remainder of the music is coming. Like, we have to go past the statue. I'm trying to get a handle on...
Oh, no matter what, you have to go past the statue if you're going upstairs.
And the music, or what's
Is that
left
what
of
you
it, is
want me to
still coming
do?
from
You're
upstairs.
telling me to go upstairs?
That's where the music is coming from.
I'm gonna go up the stairs.
You head up. Are
Wait
you
for
heading
me!
up on the side of the arrow or the opposite side?
The side of the arrow. The
Descent,
statue is coming to life to tell me to go a direction. It's be rude of me to not listen.
Fair enough, honestly. Descent, the music's coming from the other direction, upstairs.
How far away is Arlo?
He's halfway up the stairs by now.
But is he still within earshot?
I mean, yeah.
Arlo, I don't know where you're going. The music is this way. That's where I'm headed.
You follow the music?
Yeah, I'll follow the music.
Arlo, what are you doing?
I'm trying to see up the stairs, trying to figure out what this statue might be trying to lead me to. It seems important.
Okay.
I never
You-
seen an enchanted statue before.
You two split up. Descendo following the music. Arlo trying to figure out what the hell the arrow's pointing at. Noria. It's cold. You are colder than you've ever been. You're not sure you've ever felt warm. The hand stops, lets you go, but you still feel like you're being pulled. And there's a sharp pain in your gut. What do you do?
So I got pulled like into a snow pile. Am I just buried in a snow pile, or?
You would be shocked if that's all that was happening.
Can I see anything around me?
How to put this? You can see yourself. You can see the long, jagged silver spike that is jutting through your abdomen.
Oh, look at that. I've been impaled.
And you feel that pulling you.
Pulling me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. When you say I can see me, is it like a reflection or?
No. You can see your body, your physical form that your eyes are attached to.
What do I roll to not pass out?
Same thing we always roll. A d6.
Oh, okay.
If you're willing to risk your mind, you can add the insight die.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tempted. I'm not going to. Because I think it's more likely she would pass out in this moment.
Okay.
That's a 2.
Do you wish to keep it 2? You're rolling against failure.
Is failure I pass out, or is failure I stay awake?
Failure is you pass out. Because
Okay,
you were
yeah,
trying to not pass out.
Yeah, I think she would pass out. I'm going to keep the 2.
Okay. You see it. You are dragged into darkness as your brain cannot comprehend. Not what you're seeing. There's not much to see. There's light in this space, obviously, or you wouldn't be able to see yourself. But your brain is not able to process the sheer pain of the metal spike through your abdomen.
Is it a hooked spike, or is it...
No.
Oh. Then how's it dragging me?
You don't know.
Yeah, I just pass out. I'll wake up when I wake up, wherever I am.
You come to awareness as you hear screaming. What are you doing? Your eyes aren't open yet. You're just hearing screaming.
Am I like laying down? Am I still falling? Or
You feel floor beneath you.
am I standing, sitting, laying down? Or
Feels like laying down.
okay. Eyes wide open. Bolt sit up.
You sit up and begin to tumble forward as you were laying down on the wall.
Ah.
You catch
I don't
yourself.
even know if I tumble. I had a few glasses of wine. I think I just ate it.
You don't feel the effects of wine.
Ah, fuck.
You feel numb and you feel cold. Strangely, you do feel a bit weightless.
I will stand up and look around at my surroundings. Where am I?
You appear to be in what looks like a kitchen, nearby a fireplace, in front of which the Lady Duskar is scrambling back, screaming, top of her lungs.
She scrambling away from me?
Away from the fire.
Oh.
Clutching at herself, looking like she's trying to fight something back, but you don't see anything else.
Okay, so it just looks like a normal fire to me.
Yeah. Well, looks normal. For how big it is, you should probably feel warmer, but...
Okay.
What are you doing?
You said I'm in like a kitchen, right?
Yep.
Is there anything sharp near me?
Appear to be some knives on the counter.
I will grab a knife. In case I need to defend myself. Don't know how to use it. We'll figure it out as we go along. And I will run over towards Lady Duskar to try to figure out what the fuck she's screaming at.
She is just staring ahead, looking like she's trying to ward something off.
Does it, if I like kneel down in front of her or something, does it look like she registers that I'm there?
Slowly. She does smack you in the face a few times.
Okay.
But it seems through that, the movements become less wild. In the course of that, I'm gonna need you to roll a d6. It's not for you.
Two.
Would you like to keep it?
Am I I'm risking my mind or whoever's mind of who I'm rolling for?
You don't have to worry about adding insight if you choose to re-roll it.
Oh, okay.
Basically, I'm rolling a die. You're rolling for failure.
Okay. I'll roll again, if possible.
Go for it.
If I roll another 2, that's my third 2 in a row. Does that mean I actually rolled a 6?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't roll another 2.
What'd you roll?
A 1.
Oh. Are you keeping it?
Can I not keep the 2 from before?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I'll give it one more go.
Okay.
That's another 2.
Okay.
It was meant to be.
So I rolled higher. Which means Lady Duskar does not cut herself on the knife as her arms are flailing wildly.
Ah.
She does smack you several times.
I figured.
But slowly the movements become less frantic, her hands kind of resting, just kind of palm against your face. And slowly you see recognition come to the eyes. Maria. Where are they? Where are we? Where is it?
Who's they? We're in the kitchen? What's it?
You didn't see them. Those things.
No?
What the hell is this happening?
Kind of looked down at my stomach real quick because they're like, I need blood or anything. Is there a hole in my dress? Cool. Can I look over? Is the pencil still in my arm?
Yeah.
Cool. May I just pull that out and put the pencil away?
Yep. It's covered in blood. Now there's a hole in your dress.
Go wash it out later. Ah. Cool. Yeah, so what's Lady Duskar's first name again? Sadie can't remember.
Myra.
Myra, thank you. I will ask that 3 more times tonight. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I'll just look at her and be like, okay, Myra, where's everyone else?
Hey, the hunter, Arlo, and,
Who?
do you know any of their names? This is an exercise in futility.
Toos, I think was his name. Taus?
Toos, okay. So
Tussle?
2 people left before Toos came into the study. Toos came in and said that they were planning on serving serpent snakes for dinner. And I left, and I believe Sir Siva was following me. But I don't know where he is. Nor where the others have gotten to, for that matter.
I believe, Stephen, we established last episode that I had offhandedly met Myra once before. Would I have had enough interaction to know why serving serpent would get a reaction out of her?
You wouldn't know it from your interactions with her directly, but you would have heard enough about the Duskars that, yeah, they raise... Snakes are their family. They descend from Medusas. Some still have, like, scales and serpent eyes. They are that closely tied in blood to the Medusas.
Okay. Can I grab a second knife. And I will put it in her hand. And then with our free hands, I will clasp them together, hers and mine, and be like, cool, please don't stab me with that. Let's try to find the others, I guess. And then we can free wherever they're holding the stakes.
Okay.
Don't let go of my hand, though.
You grab her hand, and as she kind of registers it, she very quickly pulls it away, kind of flexing it and holding it against herself. Your hand is freezing.
Is her hand cold at all, or?
I mean, hard to tell. It's not
Okay.
by any means warm.
Right.
Then again, neither is the fire behind you.
Would you rather we lock arms?
If your arms are as cold as your hands, I will stay as close as I can, but at least until we find my fur again, I am not going to keep contact.
Cool.
What am I saying? We can't go anywhere. We need to get you warmed up. There is a fire here.
Remind me, I don't feel like I'm extremely cold, do I? I know you said I feel like I'm colder, but not to the degree that she seems to be implying.
You don't feel cold because you don't feel much of anything.
Got it.
Like, your hand feels so numb, you know you're holding a knife, but you are beginning to realize you don't feel like you're holding a knife.
Okay. Myra? Is that fire behind me emitting any heat for you?
Of course, it is more an inferno. You would notice she is not looking at the fire.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Because it's not for me.
That is one of the most concerning things you have said tonight, dear. We've set up another one in the study. Let's see if that one is any better for you, no?
What if we tied ourselves together with like a kitchen rag or something?
As long as there is not enough distance that I am not physically touching you. I want to help you warm up. I am not very warm, and you are the epitome of freezing as far as I can tell.
Cool. I'll go with that. I'll find a kitchen rag to like tie our wrists together or something.
You do. Deuce.
Then I'll have her lead the way.
She does. Deuce. You're walking
Uh-huh.
down the hall until you enter a very, well, considerably small dining room. There's a table, several chairs set up around it. Kind of chandelier hanging over it, but it's not candles or torches or even magic as far as you can tell. You can't tell what's lighting this room. You see
Oh, is it any doors across the city, or does it just keep going? Or is this the end?
This is currently the end.
No. The place is set.
They are.
How many?
Currently 3.
3 places.
Mhm.
Square table?
Rectangular. Could hold more than 3, but only 3 are set.
Are they set on the ends and then one on the side?
1 end and then 2. The 2 closest to that end.
Gotcha. So one end empty, one end 3.
Correct.
What kind of utensils are out on the table?
There's a fork, a knife, and a spoon.
Okay, so only one spoon, so they're not doing a big fancy thing. A fork, a knife, and a spoon. Only one knife, not doing any really big steak meals. Maybe no salad. I'm using my chef knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a fireplace?
No.
How big is the room?
Smaller than you'd expect for a manor like this, but decent size.
And only the one exit out behind me.
What exit behind you?
Oh no! I am trapped. Is there any food on the table? Or just places?
You see a decent sized salad bowl, a bowl of what looks like mashed potatoes, or some kind of porridge like solid thing.
A salad bowl, but no salad fork. Interesting.
Stepping out of the wall directly across from you.
Spoon.
See what looks like a middle-aged woman. Hair kind of down to just past the shoulders. You can't make out a lot of her features. Almost like you're looking at the shadow of a person. Carrying a tray of what looks like rolls and some kind of fried meat.
Rolls and some kind of fried meat. Can I tell what kind of rolls are these?
I don't think you're sure.
I got a 3. Does that tell me what kind of rolls these are?
I don't know. Did you roll your insight?
No, I just rolled 2 because I'm a chef.
I'm gonna need you to roll your insight.
Okay, I got a 2.
Okay. But still 3. They're not anything you've ever seen.
New rolls. New rolls.
Like, rolls in theory are the same type no matter what. Like, even if you change what bread type, change its style, it's familiar. You can pretty specifically, figure it out.
Well, certain rolls come from certain places and others come from others.
Right.
But these rolls seem to come from nowhere.
Or at least nowhere you've really seen.
An unknown roll. This is intriguing to me.
You hear that.
Hello, sir. Hello. Who are you?
You see the shadowed woman look up. Not quite at you. Good. Go wash up. Dinner's almost ready.
You must be the one who's calling me home.
You watch as she sets the tray on the table. Begins serving out some portions onto the other plates. Two other
Mademoiselle.
shadowed figures enter from a different wall.
How tall are they? Shorter.
Shorter than her, not by much.
Are they walking or running or skipping?
One's running.
Is it jaunty run?
More like the I'm gonna get the best piece of food because I'm gonna get there first. Run. The other one, there's some speed to it, but a clear sense of I'm not getting there first. I'm not gonna do this. Chairs are pulled out. The three figures sit.
Mademoiselle, it seems you have invited me to dinner, but have not set a place for me.
Make an insight check.
So this is just one die. I want to roll a 2 or below.
Correct.
I got a 3.
Your insight goes up by 1.
Cool, let me just mark that down. Let me just write that. Write this down here.
You hear what sounds like a loud shattering of glass. And the scene in front of you seems to break and warp. And then it snaps back. There are 3 places, but only 2 people.
Which one left?
One of the 2 who ran in.
One of the shorter ones. All right.
The meal's different.
We can call them the children, right?
Yeah.
The children and mother or father, parent.
You see another place is
The meal is different. Wait, did you say the meal is different? I missed that.
The meal is
Oh,
different.
what kind of rolls now?
There are none. Looks more like shepherd's pie.
Okay, Steven, same info. What utensils? What's the place setting?
Fork and a knife, no spoon. 3
No
place
spoon.
settings.
Shepherd's pie. Bam,
Shepherd's
right on the table.
Right
Big
on
one.
the table. Big one.
Big bowl, shepherd's pie.
Yep.
No salad?
No salad.
No rolls.
No rolls.
Soup?
Nope.
Shepherd's pie only.
Shepherd's pie only.
Does it have peas or not?
Oh, so many veggies. Peas, carrots, celery, hunks of meat that you can clearly identify as probably lamb or beef or maybe both. You get a distinct smell of both.
Gotcha. Chandelier.
Same.
Huh.
Unknowable. It's clearly the same room.
Mademoiselle, your dining room is quite exquisite, quite cozy and comfortable. Leads to a very intimate dining experience.
The place is set.
This is a chandelier. Oh, where did you get it?
Of the 5 strange lights on the chandelier, one pops. and goes out. The place is set. Second one pops, goes out.
Whoa.
This is a different voice. From everywhere and nowhere.
What's happening?
The place is always set. Third one pops, goes out.
Thanks. I don't actually think I'm hungry. I had some snake earlier. I tried to walk through one of the walls. The same wall that I saw the children come out through.
It is solid but malleable. You might be able to push through if you try.
Cool. I'll push through.
Roll it.
5.
You're pushing through, that voice still from everywhere. They always set a place. Fourth light pops, goes out. The room is darker. Lit only by that one singular, strange little light. All you have to do is come back home. Fifth light pops. The wall in front of you, you go tumbling through it. You hear an oof as you ram into something. You both go toppling to the floor. Sir, can you get off of me, please?
What is this? Are you the person in the light?
You look into the tousled
I pick it up.
hair and then flip around to the scared face of Artak.
Artak, what are you doing, Artak?
Ow!
Where were
What do you mean, what am I doing?
Where did you go?
I went through the wall! You pushed me through it!
I went through the wall. You were not in the wall.
I was too in the wall, and then I wasn't in the wall.
I went through the wall, and I fell, and there was clothes on the clothes.
There was clothes on the What?
The clothes were there, and then the dining room, and you did not hear the voice. I remember this.
No, I heard... And he looks back and stops. He's looking past you.
Artak, get over. Artak, where did you go?
So weird.
Artak, I smack.
Ow,
Ooh.
what?
What?
No,
What do you see?
I don't see... I see a hole in the wall that you pushed me through.
No, you saw something.
What are you talking about?
Just now, when your eyes appeared to be 10,000 yards away. What do they call that? Ah, yes, there's a 10,000 yard stare. And I think I'm sounding charming now.
I don't know, maybe a spider or centipede. Can we get out of here? I don't like being in this enclosed space with you.
Yes, we can. That is helpful.
And to
But
his
let's just go.
point, this is not a hallway. This is a crawl space behind that hole in the wall.
Not even a secret room. Let us go. Maybe we should find the others. Yes?
Agreed. You and Artak head out of the wall. Descena. You're following the music. You're also frozen on OBS again. Florida internet.
It's been a
everybody.
while.
We love it. We hate it. We really just hate it.
I mostly hate it.
I don't know if we can say that because I did a gate 1 week where I was in Florida and it never happened to me.
Florida internet and everybody. Where it likes Sadie for once and hates Angela for always. Anyway, Hello, Desena. You're following the music. That jagged melody pulling you forward. What's your insight at?
3.
As you walk, are you just looking where you're going? Where's your focus right now?
Yeah, after the whole statue / arrow thing, gonna be following where the sound is coming from, but definitely just keeping an eye out for anything between here and there.
It's weird. As you're just kind of looking around, you see where the floor meets the walls meets the ceiling. And it doesn't look right. It looks like somebody took these kind of flat pieces and sewed them together. And you can see where the threads are coming loose. You can see the straining and the fraying. Like the hallway itself wants to pull apart at the seams. And still the melody pulls you. Forward. Forward. And I think you lose track of where you're going as you notice the pull. And you find yourself suddenly in what looks like a bedroom? Bed, weird kind of dresser thing, you're not sure. It's like a wardrobe, but it doesn't have the doors, so I guess it's really just the lower half of a wardrobe extended upward. A chest. A few other indistinct things you can't quite make out, and shattered on the floor. Black shards of plastic and metal and wire. And out of this wreck is the music.
So it's broken, but that's the entire source?
Yep.
Is there anyone else in the room?
No.
All right, I'll get closer to the mass of everything.
What specifically are we getting closer to?
The wires and everything that's on the floor.
You look down at it. I don't think you know what this... Desena knows what this is. You just hear music coming from it, almost like it were a gramophone, but there's no place for records. There's no knob, there's no wheel, there's no nothing. There's just wire and metal. But whatever it is, it shouldn't be making noise. It's a shattered wreck on the floor. It should be done. And that music stops.
Okay.
And I need you to make an insight check.
Great, that'll go over well. Okay, 2.
Okay. Static. is coming through whatever this is. The sound of consistent, low energy thunder is the best way I can describe it. Out of character, it's the best way I can describe white noise to somebody unfamiliar with electricity.
Got it.
You start to make out words, but there's a part of your mind that is screaming to let it go. To not dig into this, that something bad will happen if you focus on these words. I'm going to offer you a choice, Desena. You can listen to that part of your mind. You can step back, the door is still there, you can leave. The song's gone, Arlo's in a different place, you're all scattered, you can leave this alone. Or you can try to focus on those words. In which case I'm going to say your insight will go up. Or I'll just have you roll again. We won't make it go up. No, I lied again. My apologies. You also froze again. We're gonna kill Florida, guys. It's fine. We're gonna make internet work.
Oh, don't kill Florida. Disney World's down there.
We still have Disneyland. It's fine.
But it's not cool as Disney World.
We don't need it.
Yes, we do. It's Disney World.
Desena, what are you doing?
Okay, so just to be clear, no roll. If she tries to focus on the voices, it does go up, correct?
Final answer. If you choose to try to focus on the voices, I'm going to have you roll not insight. Just roll a die to see how much of it you can make out.
Okay.
If you succeed, aka get a 3 or higher, your insight will go up. Or you can ignore it. You can willfully let this go.
And you said it was her, basically herself that was screaming to let it go?
Just a part of your mind. You know when you kind of... It's almost like you're getting fight or flight. Though there's no clear source for it. Like, there's no physical person screaming, let it go, get out of here. There's not like a person in the movie theater yelling at the screen, get the fuck out. There's just a part of your mind that's like, this is bad. This is not something I should be fucking with.
Okay. God. Part of me really wants to push forward with it.
Your call?
But I think she's had enough. Hang on. This is just for me. No, she's gonna push forward. Alright.
Make a check. Let's see how much of this you can make out.
Oh. Well, that's disappointing. That's a 2.
Okay. It's a lot of static. It's 2 separate voices, almost layered on top of each other. You hear words Arctic autumn? But in a different voice, you hear monsters everywhere. And then the noise is gone.
And I don't recognize the voice or either of them.
Much like the music, there's this kind of wriggling familiarity in the one that brought up monsters. You couldn't say from where, you couldn't say who they were, but it's familiar.
Okay. Then yeah, with that in mind, she's gonna leave the bedroom, but she's gonna pick up one of those wires from the floor and put it in her pocket, because yes, dresses have pockets, damn it.
Okay. Interesting. Arlo. You make it to the top of the
Yeah.
stairs. What are you doing?
I'm doing this and just realizing what year we're in. I'm.
I blatantly said what year it was. It is
Well, I
not
never
my
pieced
fault.
it together. It wasn't a secret. It was a secret to only me. No, I'm looking around at the top of the stairs to see, like, what could that arrow possibly be pointing to? Is there anything of any significance up here?
What's your insight at?
2.
Okay. You hear sounds like somebody pounding on a door down the hallway.
Hello? I followed the noise down the hall. Not for it. Everyone doing all right?
There is a loud rattling from around the corner. It's almost like something massive throwing all of its weight. Closest thing you could maybe attribute it to is, well, what you imagine it would sound like if a massive brown bear was trying to throw itself against a doorway.
Specifically a bear.
Something of that size.
That's what my mind might go to. That okay, it's clearly not a person stuck behind that door. I'm going to not open the door.
The door's around the corner. Are you going to go to the door, or are you just staying where you are?
Oh, if it's not like immediately like obvious where the pounding is, yeah, my curiosity would get the best of me. I'd want to peek around and at least see like what is thuddy. Like I want to see if there's like a physical thud against this door on it. Like is this really not human thing pounding on here?
You peek around the corner and you see Sir Siva. Though he's not wearing his armor, he looks older. Almost. Dark, kind of sun-baked skin. Black hair, dashes of white that weren't there downstairs. And he's putting all his weight against this door as something from the other side is slamming into it.
Siva, what are you doing?
He looks at you. Doesn't seem to fully recognize you. See fear in his eyes. Not of you. Of whatever's on the other side of this door.
I think I'm like trying to loud whisper down the hallway, like, get away from there.
If I get away, it gets in. Unless you found something to block it.
I don't know what it is. I look around for something.
You are in a empty hallway.
Well, you can't just stay blocking the door forever. And
Not forever. Not forever. Long enough.
long enough to what? Let's like follow me like downstairs, or rush downstairs together, and we'll find something to barricade it.
Downstairs. You see it blinks. What in the lights in this area, torchlights, candles, they all flicker at once. And when they come back, the white is gone from his hair. He's wearing his armor. Still leaning against the door, but you don't hear it pounding any longer. Arlo. It was Arlo, right?
Yes. Get away from that door. You can follow me back downstairs.
Yes.
I assume like the host will show up soon.
Should hope so. I have more than a few words for our hosts.
Well, why don't you accompany me back downstairs and tell me about it?
Alright. Kind of gives the door the side eye. But I'll follow you downstairs. All of you reconvene in the study area. Toos, you and Artok are finding your way out of the wall. Noria, Lady Myra has led you here. Desena and Arlo, you eventually make your way back there as well, giving the statue of the fairy a wide berth as you descend the stairs. And that is where we will take our break.
Get a
So,
break.
my friends, be back at whatever hour 44 it is your time to
Look,
find what happens next.
I have a character in Quellmark going through some shit right now elsewhere, but
centuries later is when our story begins.
How is it that I might help you?
Real.
Yeah.
Just me realizing where the hell we are.
Honestly, it should be. That's a funny moment, and somebody should clip it if they have a chance. But it's only us in chat right now, so...
I'm watching. Nathan's watching. It means not everyone on the stream right now is watching.
Yep.
We have 3 viewers right now. Who's not
Well,
watching?
I'm sure
I'm not
Angela
watching.
isn't, and if she is, she should stop, because the internet doesn't like her doing both. But
I'm
anyway,
I
technically
am
not watching
watching-
because I have only chat pulled up.
I'm watching on my cell network, so I'm eating up my bandwidth that way. But at least I'm not eating up the modem here, so...
Commitment.
well, hi, friends. Welcome. So, your group has regathered in the study. What are you doing?
Is the fire still going?
It's a little dimmer, but Artok gets on that. Starts raising it again.
So, has anyone actually managed to meet the lord and lady who invite us? Whoever owns this mansion?
No.
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 Yeah, me neither. Does anyone still think that they're here? It seems like I've never been in a social situation like this at a fancy mansion. I don't know what the etiquette is for keeping your guests waiting.
I'm still trying to figure out why the statue changed.
I'm sorry, the statue did what?
It changed. When we were here, it was holding a rose. Now it's holding an arrow. And the arms are in completely different positions.
It's probably enchanted. Something. It's like one of those. It's in front and center in the foyer to impress guests. It's one of these things that rich people do.
I
Maybe
just
later.
I want some food. I promised that I would not have to cook tonight, and I do not want whatever it was that was cooking. So
I'm sorry, what was that?
what?
Were you just hacking something up?
No, that was the chef's name. Come on, keep up. So,
Sorry, don't know what I
does
was
anyone
thinking.
know where we can keep some, where we have some food? Perhaps we can cook it over the fire.
There might be stuff back in the kitchen, but
I do not want to go back there. The chef does not like me. If somebody else wants to go, then perhaps that may be an option.
There
I think
was,
Artagan's been spending too much time around you because now he's starting to talk like you.
there was no chef when Nuria and I were there.
Oh, yeah, could I have untied us also
Yes.
at this point, Steven? I still have my kitchen knife.
You're not Artagan. Who's the other French person here?
Lady Myra.
Lady Myra. Okay. You two can talk.
She actually hands her kitchen knife to Sir Siva, who kind of gives it a couple swings, tests its weight. It'll have to do, I suppose. Anybody else see strange things?
It's hard to say because
Yes.
I don't know what passes for normal in a rich people's manner.
Yes, I saw strange things. There was a shadow person serving salad, but with no salad fork. So, who knows? But then all of the lights, they kept popping when they went out, and yes. Strange. Very strange.
I forgot.
Otak was there, but not.
The butler's name is Artak. Artagan was from last season.
Correct.
Otak is not the butler. Hello.
I thought
Right,
I
they
was
didn't even
going to be,
bother.
but I'm not any... Did you say Artagan?
No.
Who's
What?
Otagan?
No one. No one
Is
said that.
Otagan your friend?
You tagging pulling my strings. Anyway.
Otagan these nuts.
Shut up!
Oh no. Oh no. Breck, it was nice knowing you.
There's too many names!
Doesn't even make any sense.
Is the wire still in Descendant's pocket?
Yep. Artagan.
Perhaps it is Otagon, like a arted-sided shape, like an arc-sided shape. Like an octagon is an eight-sided, an octagon is arc-sided.
Artak is not listening to a word coming out of your mouth right now. Doesn't really seem to be listening to any of you at the moment. Lost in his own head.
So what is the plan? Do we leave here, or do we decide that we spend our entire life trapped here until we die?
Where are we supposed to go? The door, it is covered in snow. I am not designed for winter travel at the moment.
Yeah, even if we all wrapped ourselves individually and tried to leave, I don't think we'd make it back to our homes right this second.
Steven?
Yeah.
Could I have made my way a little closer to the fire and just see if I feel heat coming off of it?
You can. You don't.
I do not feel heat? Cool.
Or rather, you feel the presence of heat. It's not warm, it's just different.
So what is the plan? Food first, and then perhaps wine. Uh-huh.
Sure. I don't think we have much choice.
And then maybe
just
we
go.
try to dig our way out. We say, oh, Artak, did you ever find my kilt?
Your what?
My coat. The ones that you put in the ballroom. Did you find it?
You ever hear of a beholder?
With the eye, like beauty. Where's the beauty comes from?
Kind of.
Are you feeling alright?
No.
Just gonna go over to Artok and give him the clinical once over.
Everywhere you touch, like the eyelids to get a better look at the eyes, hands and wrists to take pulse. Artok is cold to the touch.
Where were you two? Looking over at Toos. And I'm going to pull Artok over to the fire as she speaks.
We were looking for a way out. I thought maybe there was a secret passage. It turns out there was just a hallway that led to a dining room, or maybe not.
Desana, what's your insight at?
3.
Fire's not as warm as you would expect it to be.
You should touch it just to be sure.
Okay, she's not going to touch it, but she is going to put her hand out closer to it.
I mean, you feel warmth. But it's not quite there. And then I think you realize... It took you a moment to realize Artok was feeling cold. And I think you finally realize Artok felt at the same body temperature I am. So if Artok feels cold,
this isn't good. I don't know what it is about this place, but even the fire isn't doing what it's supposed to. It's not warming him a bit. I don't know if it's warming anybody up.
Then we must find a way out.
Yeah. Even if we stay here, I'm not sure we're going to last.
Do you think... I don't want to go back to this kitchen, but do you think the oven may provide some warmth?
If fire itself in this fireplace isn't working, I'm not sure the oven's going to be much better.
I don't know. I have
We
seen
could try, but
in some rich people's mansions, some people have ovens that are magic, like a magic fire. Instead of using the flame itself, it uses an enchantment to so that nothing actually gets burnt.
Well,
There's also this magic way that you can have a big tub of water and it sort of heats the whole thing regularly, and usually it's for cooking meat all at an even temperature, called the sous vide, but I guess we could just stick Artok in it and warm the little guy up.
we
In the
don't
oven?
have to do that.
No, a sous vide.
No.
A sous vide.
I was going to
Not in the
suggest
oven.
we could try going into the kitchen and stick our head in the oven and see what happens.
Steven?
Yeah.
Layout of the room wise, I know I'm by the fireplace. Where is everyone else standing?
Artok and Desena are by the fireplace with you.
Okay.
Lady Myra's a little ways away with Sir Siva.
Okay. Never mind then.
Okay. Yeah. Arlo and Tus are a little ways back. There's a bookshelf that's toppled over. A lot of books. For those who were in here before, but not since Tus's finding of the hole, an entire bookshelf has toppled over. Several books have been thrown onto the ground from different shelves. Desena froze again. Knickknacks have been tossed around. There's a cat on one of the bookshelves. It's a weird place right now.
I have a question about Artok. He's still by the fire.
Yeah.
Can I get like a general description of him? Like, I know that he's got like a poorly fit suit.
Yeah. Poorly fit suit,
Small,
kind
right?
of fiery red hair, goes down to about the nape of the neck.
There it is. Cool. Yeah, it's weird fire's not working in this house, but what has?
What was
Is there a
that?
cat?
Sitting on
Did
the
I actually
bookshelf.
just hear that?
Yeah. Sitting on the bookshelf, you see a black cat beat to hell. Looks like it's missing part of its tail.
That cannot be a good sign.
Faint, sparkly sheen to its fur.
Well, why not? What would be bad about it? It's a cat.
It is sparkly. I do not know.
Sorry, I blanked out. Where's the cat located again?
On a bookshelf.
Okay. How close to the fireplace?
Opposite side of the room.
Cool. Can you yeah, I would probably be waiting for a moment when I'm alone at the fireplace. So if that happens, could you inform me? And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's fine.
If it
I
helps,
just have my eyes out for that currently.
Desena, where's your focus?
Artok is responding again, correct?
A bit. He's still distant, still in his thoughts, but he's responding.
Okay. So I'm still going to stay close to him. But at the same time, going to I'll try to figure out where the cat came from for a bit, but if nobody else seems to think it's odd, she'll just let it pass and just assume he's probably just the host's pet.
This beat the shit
I'm
cat.
interested in the cat too.
Yeah.
So Desena's focused on the cat. Noria, you're not alone at the fireplace. Artok is staring at it, but you don't think Artok's registering anything he's looking at. Desena's close, but not paying attention. Up to you whether you go through with your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know this is kind of a stupid question because we're doing theater of the mind and stuff. How close is Descent? I'm kind of like crouched literally in front of the fire. So how close is Descent?
Artok's kind of between you and her, as she's moved to kind of staying close to Artok, but focusing more on the cat in this current moment.
Okay. So the sun is looking at the cat, and Artok's kind of like in his own little world.
Yep.
Is his back to the fire, or is he facing?
No, he is. Eyes in the flame.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna keep waiting then.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing?
I think I'd be trying to engage the cat because I'd probably put down like whatever package I've been mulling around and be like, I don't know what the issue is. Cat's just a cat. I like try and go near it and try and pet it.
You go
It's within
near and
close
it
range.
immediately just tries to slash your hand.
Hey, what's the matter, buddy? This is your house, isn't it? Something scare you?
Arlo, I'd like you to roll insight.
Alright.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. What has ever gone wrong in the spooky mansion? Roll a 1.
Okay. It's a weird cat.
Helpful. Presumably you belong here. We haven't seen... I turned to the rest of the group. It's like, maybe this is like the most we're getting out of the The owners of this joint.
You
And
think
he's waiting for their
the,
cat.
you think the owners have sent the cat?
Well, not sent it, but it was sure nice of the cat to put in an appearance, because Lord and Lady sure haven't.
All right, all right, all right. Kitty, hello there. Take us to the people who feed you every day. Kitty, I will give you a nice big bowl of milk and a bowl of yarn. Cat, whiskers, mittens.
Choose roll insight.
It has every cat name under the sun.
Yes. I got a 1. I'm saying.
Would you like to keep the 1?
Ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, you want to roll low on insight, right?
Not if you want insight.
If you roll below
Right.
your number stays the same. If you roll above
I
it, it
get
goes
to
up.
be sane, but I don't find anything useful.
You get
Okay,
to be
cool.
sane but stupid. That's
Sweet.
what I've gathered.
Look, I'll take it.
You go through every cat name you can think of, and this thing's eyes are
Whiskers.
narrowed slits.
Furball,
I think you're just making it angrier.
little teeths.
Reaches out one paw, claws extended, scratches through an entire leather-bound tome.
All right.
Slowly, methodically staring at you the entire time.
I have a thought here.
Hmm?
What if the cat is not a cat? Call
It's
me
like another
crazy.
statue.
Call me crazy. What
But
if the
here's the
cat
number.
is not a cat? What if the cat is the owner of the mansion?
And the
Kitten.
very
What does a cat
Taska.
need with a mansion?
It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
You think a cat owns the mansion?
I think it is a person who has turned into a cat.
You think the cat owns the mansion?
I think a person who is now a cat owns the mansion.
Just I know you're focused on the cat, I'm also gonna have you roll insight.
Is everyone but Artok and I looking at the cat?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Man, nobody's ever gonna figure anything else out about this cat because it's a 1.
Has the cat made any noises yet?
It is
It's
meowed,
just-
it is hissed, and it's tried to take Arlo's hand off.
Well,
Desana,
sorry,
would
I
you like
should-
to keep the 1?
What else is a cat?
Oh, I can't see Angela on the call. Fuck, I'm gonna reload.
At least I don't have to reload for once. Hmm. Yeah, I'll reroll.
Okay.
Is somebody else going to deal with the cat, or can I? Shall
Nope,
we go
fuck it, I'm
explore
done. That's a
somewhere
1.
else?
Okay.
Try to find a large shovel.
I have passed my curse from chapter 2 onto Angela. Now
Don't
that we're in
even.
chapter 3.
Don't you with me.
Call me Maleficent because this curse will last until the end of time.
Nadia, what are you doing?
Yeah, kind of like to rephrase my question, like the sounds that it's made when it's meowed and hissed. Has it done any of those unprompted? Because I know it hissed when someone got close to it. Has it ever just made a sound just because, or have all the sounds been like someone talking to it and it's replying?
The meow was kind of random. Kind of got everybody's attention dragged to it. But other than that... Yes, Toos.
Is Angela very still or frozen?
Neither.
I don't even care. I'm just wait. Am I
Neither.
not frozen?
No.
Are you sure about
Okay.
that?
All right.
No.
Hands off.
You are welcome.
All
to
right, time
refresh.
for me to reload.
That's just frozen for me too.
Well, time
Aha!
for you to reload
I'm not
too.
the only one.
It's the musical chairs of reloading.
You might say that I'm a dreamer.
Nadia, while they're reloading, what are you doing?
As long as Artok is facing that fire, nothing. I'm like facing the fire, but like out of the corner of my eyes, I'm just looking at him, and just like in my head, I'm like, look away, look away, look away, look away, look away.
I'm a level with you. He's not going to. He is
Sorry, say that
1,000-yard
again?
stare. He's not paying any attention to what's behind him.
If I
And
give his leg a little poke, does he react?
A little bit.
I will say though, after looking at the cat and just kind of dismissing it as the house pet, even if it's a really angry house pet, Descendant's going to turn her attention back to our dog.
Do you think there are beholden? If there are beholders?
I mean, okay, let's just say yes. Where are you going with that train of thought?
I don't think there was a going.
Toos, did Artok hit his head on the way down?
I thought so, but I do not know.
I checked for head injury.
You don't find
Oh.
one.
Can I ask again, what is the plan? If no one agrees with me on a plan, I'm just going to start doing things, because I do not want to sit here. This entire thing is just a bunch of malarkey, and I want to go out, away, home.
I think impatience is only going to make it worse.
Cool. I'm going to go find wine. I leave.
Steven,
Mm-hmm.
I know we talked about as reference when we were like explaining this, when you were explaining the system to us, that we're basically like level 0 commoners. This game, this setting, still takes place in like a high fantasy setting where magic exists, right?
Magic exists, and in the world at large, it is not uncommon. It is not something you deal with every day.
Okay.
So it's something you can come to understand, something you can roll to understand, but it's not something you're just automatically gonna know.
Right. Okay. So, along that then, I would assume that at some point, growing up in an aristocratic family, we would have hired people who have some kind of control over magic.
Potentially.
Would I ever have heard stories from them or something of entire houses being teleported and stuff?
Being teleported? You know what? Roll a d6, and if you're willing to risk your mind, you can roll insight as well. The insight die as well.
I probably shouldn't because I'm at a 4, but I am curious about this, so I'll risk my mind.
Go for it.
Okay, the insight die is higher, but it's a 5.
Okay, roll insight.
I have cast Angela. If I roll higher, my number goes up, right?
Correct.
Cool, I'm going up to a 5.
Okay.
Oh
No.
shit.
Now I've Oh, cool. Alright, so you rolled a 5 and you went up to 5. Are you keeping the
Yep.
5?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get everything a competent investigator would get, and then some. It's straight up, not really. It's not a common thing, and it's not something you can do without the homeowner's express permission. Like, people have moved their houses. Like, you know what? I want a summer home. No, I want this house I'm living in the city right now to be my summer home in a different location. So, like, yeah, it's happened before. Literally impossible without the homeowners express permission and everybody knowing it happened.
Okay.
With a 5...
So I wouldn't have gotten a sense that while we were in our little mingling phase, this entire manor would have gotten teleported somewhere then.
You know for a fact the manor hasn't been teleported somewhere since you've entered it.
Okay.
How do I put this with a 5? That isn't to say something isn't wrong.
Right.
And with a 5, I don't know if you think it's the manor specifically, or something greater at work. Because as you're looking at the fire and contemplating this, it looks fake.
The fire looks fake?
The fire looks fake. And not like, you know, somebody painted some wood to be a fire like in a high school production. Or, you know, colored tissue paper being blown up to give that effect. It looks... And I think the word comes to Noria's mind, but not the word's meaning or why you would know this word. It looks pixelated.
Got it. I'm definitely going to keep that thought to myself.
Okay.
I'd like to have a little more coherency to it before I share it with people. Desena has turned back around to look at our talk now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I'm just crouched up in front of the fire still then, as I think about this.
Toos is going to look for wine. Desena and Arlo, what are you doing? Desena's frozen and Arlo's drinking.
Oh, I heard what Angela was saying.
I can't because if she's frozen in an OBS, I can't hear her.
Oreo?
Oh, wait, because Angela had something.
All right.
Angela always has something.
There we go.
Does Nuria, does her shoulder appear injured? I mean, is it visible to everybody?
Not from her current position, no.
Okay.
But I feel like it would depend on what side you're standing on, too.
Yeah, you are facing her back on her left side. There's no way.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because, for my sake, too,
You stabbed it into your
continuity-wise, I
right
stabbed
shoulder.
my right, so yeah, because I'm left-handed and the pencil would have been in my left
You
hand.
hit your front right shoulder.
That's right. I remembers. I remember.
Arlo, what are you doing?
I'm going to pick up the package I put on the ground momentarily. And I guess try to talk to Artok and ask him, like, do you have any communication with the Lord or Lady here? Because you said you thought that you had a job here. I don't
He was
know how
also
that
just
works.
talking about beholders, Arlo.
Talk to the butler. Did I talk to the butler?
I kind of thought that you were the butler. But I could be mistaken.
I was leaving my old place of work. I received my invitation.
And then what happened?
I was getting the door for all of you. Because I thought it was my job to do so. Naria, are you just staring at the fire?
I am facing the fire, like my head is facing the fire, but my eyes are looking to the left side just so I can see if like people are turning their backs to the fire.
Walls look fake.
Is it that same like pixelated thing?
I mean, parts of it look intact, and then there's just weird little glitches. Like, out of character for reference. Like when your arm kind of glitches through the wall in Skyrim.
Sorry, you're gonna have to say that again. My internet's starting to act out.
Oh, good. It's like when, you know, in a video game when, like, part of your character model just glitches through the wall a little bit.
Okay. No one's, like, glitching through it, though. It's just the wall looks like that.
It looks like, yeah, it looks like basically there should be a second wall that's just kind of glitching through in some places. It's weird. Your brain is not fully wrapping around it.
Yeah, okay.
Do you keep looking in just those two areas?
I think... Is there a bookshelf on the left side of the fireplace?
Yeah.
I'll give that a quick glance.
Sometimes the books are there.
And sometimes it's just an empty shelf?
Sometimes
or is there
shelf?
just no shelf at all?
Both.
Okay.
It's like you look at it one way, there's books. Look at it another way, there's no books. Look at it another way, there's no shelf.
Got it. Okay.
Just books.
Does it seem to, like, change before my eyes, or is it doing that thing where it, like, changes every time I blink, or is it mixed, or...
It is... Your gaze starts to go over there, and at, like, the corner of your eye, everything's fine. And then you move your gaze a little bit, and the books are gone. And you keep moving it, and the books are back, and then the shelf disappears, and then everything's gone.
Okay, I'm gonna try really hard not to make this obvious. Which I think it'll help since no one's really paying attention to me at the moment. If I just kind of like slightly turn my head and look at Artok and Desena and just everyone else, do they seem normal? Is there something up with them too?
Everything in this room, your friends included, it's glitching just a little bit. Different people, similar in some cases, different in others, where your companions stand. The only thing that is solid, unmoving, unglitching is the cat.
And is it still in the same position that it started at when it first got everyone's attention?
Even when the shelf vanishes, it is just laying there.
Just floating in the air with nothing underneath? Okay. Sorry, again, from my mind's eye. So Artok is looking at the fire, but he's still behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Desena is now facing Artok.
Yep.
Where's everyone else looking?
Toos,
I know Toos left.
Where are you looking? Toos left. Toos is looking in the basement.
Probably.
Or why?
I'd be looking around to see if the Sir Siva is still here.
He's there.
I probably want to talk to him next.
Okay.
So Artok's talking about beholders or whatever the hell that is.
He's trying his best to comfort Lady Myra, but We'll come back to that. Toos. You're looking for something to drink, so I assume you're trying to head to a wine cellar. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Alright. What's your insight at?
3.
Best guess, wine cellar is going to be through the kitchen.
Alright, let's go. I want wine.
You enter the kitchen and nobody's there.
Oh, great. Let me see. Maybe I can cook up something good. And on my way, I look through the ice chest. I look in the pantry.
It's also not the kitchen you left.
Oh no.
The counters are cleaner. That same weird light that was in the dining room you saw earlier. Not in chandelier form, but kind of hanging from the ceiling still. It's a colder light. More white or yellow than those of flame. Black countertops, a weird metal box with a handle, with 2 handles facing you.
2 handles. I open it.
It opens.
Pull the
almost...
handle.
Which one?
Pull the handle. Are they side by side or top and bottom?
Top and bottom.
Pull the top.
You pull the top, and it opens like a door towards you. And inside is freezing. You are hit with a puff of air. Like a visible puff of cold air.
Whoa. Perhaps this is what caused all of us a cold outside.
And you see frozen meats, though packaged in strange, thinner skins almost. Could you roll insight for me, Toos?
3.
That's your insight?
Yeah.
Are you keeping it?
I still don't know what that means. Do you want me to roll again?
I don't want you to. I don't not want you to. Would you like to roll again?
No.
Okay. Meat in weird second skins.
I don't think I have a way to cook this. The stove, I don't know. Stove, oven, seem heat maybe?
You see an oven,
It's not
though
working.
smaller, and you don't see any venting pipe out of it. Or a place to light a fire in it.
Maybe it is one of those enchanted ovens. On. Flame on. Heat up. Eat up.
Nothing.
Wish I knew magic.
There are these strange little knobs on the front of it.
Strange knobs, eh? Strange knob. Turns a knob. It turns. How many knobs are there?
5.
5 knobs?
Mhm.
I turn the one on the very left.
Okay. There's a faint glow. The top left corner of this oven.
Weird. A light. Interesting. Turn the others.
The entire top begins to glow. And beyond a kind of glass panel, you see the inside of the oven begins to glow as well.
Oh, well, does not seem very useful to have just a box of lights in the kitchen. Weird.
What you doing?
They're not hard, are they?
They're not what?
Hot?
Do you put your hand over it?
Sure.
Oh yeah, no, they're giving off heat.
Oh. Aha! I have found the heat.
Not a lot of heat.
I am a genius. I have discovered the fire in the house, the enchanted fire that works with the knobs.
What have I told you about playing with the stove?
What do you mean? This is no stove, it is a magic.
You turn, and that same shadowy woman is there, but she is far taller than you.
I throw the meat.
You take me out of the freezer and throw it?
Yes.
Alright. This is rolling a d6. There is a chance of failure in this.
He was
5.
throwing his meat around.
You throw a block of meat at the woman who you hit her square in the face. She recoils back.
You get out of my kitchen. I am busy here. I must cook. Go. Leave. I must make some food. Get out of my kitchen if you are not going to help.
Go to your room.
I think you should go to your room. Is it kitchen?
We will talk about this when your father gets home. Now go to your room.
Father. But I am hungry.
The stove is glowing brighter.
I am hungry. I must cook food for me and the other
brighter.
guests.
And I need you to roll insight again.
Yeah, I figured. 1.
And that was the last we saw of Juice.
I was gonna say roll for initiative.
Roll for gas stove exploding.
With a 1. You hear an explosion behind you. Or not quite an explosion, more like shattering. You blink, and the shadow, you recoil looking back, and the oven is like you remember it. From when you were in here with...
Oh.
Speaking of
Look
which,
what you have done. You have destroyed the stove.
Instead of the woman, you do see...
Whoa.
Or rather, you see a massive human. The right shoulder is connected to the right leg, which is connected to a foot. The left shoulder is connected to the upper half of the arm, and the lower half is a massive twisted bone meat cleaver. And he is walking on faces.
I'm going to run now.
Understandable. Have a nice day. Would anyone like to roll against to escaping this thing?
No, not if this dude is walking on faces. Let Toos get out of there. Jeff.
Foot bone's connected
Okay.
to the leg bone. The leg bone's connected
It's
to the
connected.
knee bone.
Bone.
The right shoulder's connected to the leg bone. We're all connected to the leg bone. The head's connected to the leg bone.
Toos, you book it
Everything
out of the
connected to
kitchen.
the leg bone.
What is the face bone?
It's like a
I think
7-year-old
failure's going to
kid
be
that only knows the
interesting, so
one
I'll
line,
roll it
but
if no
wants
one
to
else
continue
will.
singing.
If you are willing, if you're willing to risk your mind to escape this thing, you can also
Yeah,
roll the insight.
I rolled 2. I rolled 2 die.
All right.
That means you get 2
What'd you
die.
get?
I got a 5 on my non-insight die and a 2 on my insight die.
You want to keep the 5?
I do.
Okay. We'll come back to you.
I'm gonna die.
Desena, Arlo, what are you doing?
I wanted to go and talk to our friend in the knight armor.
Sir
He's
Siva
still
currently is standing with his arms wrapped around Lady Myra, trying to help her warm up. Nods as you approach.
I don't know how much help I'd be with this, but do you? When we were upstairs, you said you were barricading from something. Do you remember what that was?
Some kind of massive serpent-like beast. Not a snake. Or not really. It wasn't normal. Just tearing up everything, crushing everything in its path that it didn't try to eat. I was trying to look for a way out. I didn't find one, I found that.
Okay. Serpents I can deal with. That... I don't know what kind of way out we're gonna find here. I think we might just... Only way out is to wait it out.
I don't know if that's an option anymore.
Was that all you saw up there? You were looking pretty rough. Like, I know like a large serpent is already a lot to see.
Yeah, no, it was bad. Desena, what are you doing?
Does Desena hear the conversation between the two of them?
At the very least, you hear Sir Siva's half. He's not being quiet.
I don't know if that ties in with what I experienced. And in the meantime, she is keeping one hand on Artok just because she is pretty sure that something happened to him in the fall, even if she can't see the injury. She doesn't know what is going on with him at the moment, but she will look back and say, I didn't see, well, I saw some things, not quite what you saw, but I heard things, and I still don't know what they mean. But something was trying to say monsters everywhere. And Arctic autumn? I don't know, maybe there are monsters somewhere here. Maybe that's what you saw.
Cercida's eyes go wide a little bit. They're all over the city. Taking everything down in their path. They threw it. He was still in the booth and she was in. I can't protect them all. They're too scattered, I can't protect them all.
Protect who all?
Noria, what are you doing?
I have two things, maybe three, depending on how the second thing goes. If I look down at the kitchen knife in my hand, is that also kind of like glitchy and pixelated and stuff? Cool. Toss that to the side. Doesn't mean anything to me. I think Nuria is at least connecting that, like, something drastic is changing with her mentally that is leading to her surroundings also kind of changing. Like when she's trying to think of weird information or when she does weird things, her environment is kind of responding in kind. And so to test something, I'd like to reach out and try to just grab one of the firelocks and pick it up.
I'm going to describe something. But before I do, I'm going to ask for a choice, Nuria. This is 100%. You are throwing your hand literally into a fire.
Yes.
A weird, glitchy-looking fire, but a fire.
Yes.
At the very least, you're going to be rolling insight.
Yes. I figured as much, but she also wants to test something.
I'm going to give you a choice.
Oh, those never go well for me.
You can roll your insight. Or you can choose to let it go up.
I'm gonna roll it.
Okay.
In her mind, she's trying to experiment and test something. She's not trying to surrender any kind of control or anything. So I'll roll it. Just to see what happens.
Okay.
So just roll insight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The only way, so I'm at a 5. So the only way my number goes up is if I roll a 6, correct?
Correct.
Cool. I don't think I've rolled a single 6 on a d6 since the start of System Agnostic.
So it's going to happen right now.
It did not, but it was
Okay.
close. I rolled a 5. But yeah, so the main thing she's looking for is so earlier when she got close to the fire, she did not actually feel like any of the warmth or stuff. She's seeing if she can feel any warmth, but she's also trying to see if, even if she can't feel it, if physical damage is still being like inflicted upon her hand as she, grabs a flaming log.
The flaming log breaks apart in your grip. Or rather, your brain wants to tell you that. In reality, you didn't grip it.
Like my hand just kind of went through it.
There's nothing physically there.
Okay. Then yeah, that leads me to the third thing I was gonna do. I'm gonna stand up and start making my way downtown, walking fast, faces passing homebound.
It's a lot of words for something that doesn't tell me what you're doing.
Yeah, Brendan, it wasn't you that got us copyright.
Hey, I looked up the DMCA copyright rules. If all the sounds and noises are just being produced by me, we can't be strike
What are you
for it.
doing?
You specifically?
Yes. It says my name in there, my legal name. Don't look it up.
What are you doing?
I will, yeah. I'll make my way over towards the cat, and as soon as it looks like it's about to start having a reaction to my presence, I'll kind of stop. And you said it's up on a bookshelf, or a bookshelf that's sometimes not there, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So as soon as it starts having like a physical reaction of like, or whatever, I'll stop. But I'm making my way over to the cat currently.
If you start reaching out to it, it will hiss and try to swipe at you.
Oh, I'm not reaching out. I'm just seeing how like physically close I can walk to it.
You can get basically to the bookshelf.
Oh, okay. I'll be like 2-3 feet away then. Just kind of hands clutched behind my back. And I will just say, what do you know that you're willing to share with us?
Just stares at you.
Can I vibe check the cat? Of like, does it understand me? Does it know what's going on? Does it also see the like glitchiness of the room around it?
You can vibe check the cat. It's your insight die. So you're making an insight check afterwards, but yeah.
I figured as much. So do I?
This ain't something a normal human can do.
Yeah. Do I roll 1d6 or 2?
1d6 just to see what your number will be, and then we'll have you roll the insight.
Got it. Well, my number is a 5.
Okay. Roll insight.
My insight is also a 5, so I'm staying at 5.
Okay. Are you keeping the 5?
I can risk my mind to roll it again, right? And try for a 6. That's how it works, right?
I mean, because you're only rolling your insight die, you would re-roll the insight, but because you're only rolling insight, you would remake the check as well, because you're only rolling the insight die, so it'll always be highest.
Okay, so I'll always be highest. So if I re-roll it and I get a 6, my number goes up, right?
If you re-roll the die for a higher result,
yes,
you would then immediately make the check again.
Okay.
Afterwards. And if that were a 6, your number would go up.
Got it. And if I roll again and say I roll like a 3, I can stick with the 5 I just rolled, right? No,
but you can re-roll again afterwards.
Cool. I will stick with the 5 then.
Okay. It's a cat.
Okay.
It's not a cat, but it's a cat.
Yeah. I guess
Highly
my next
intelligent.
line of...
It's tracking you.
Yeah, I guess my next line of questioning then that I would try to... I'm not sure where I'd start going about it, but I'd start trying to see if I can figure something out about it is going back to the aristocratic family that has met people. I'm sure there has been a wizard or two that used their familiar to distract me while they talked business. Does this seem like it might be a familiar? No? Okay. Yeah, my contact with magic would be very limited, so I'm trying to ask the simpler questions. Is it on like the top shelf of the bookcase, or?
High up, but not the very top.
Cool. I'll just squat down towards the bottom and see, like, run my hand along or trying to run them through the books, if that's what happens.
You get about every other book.
So, like, every other book is solid?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Desena and Arlo, you're watching Nuria do all this.
Are you feeling okay too?
What did Arlo say?
So what does it look like from our perspective?
She is running her hand along books. She just asked the cat, what do you know that you're willing to share with us?
Yeah, what the Senate said. Are you okay?
No response. I'm not paying them any mind at this point.
Oh, great. So now I have to worry about Artok and Nuria. This is going well.
And I have to worry about the cat because the cat didn't reply to the question of whether it's okay or not.
Arlo, it's a cat. It's a sparkly cat, but it's a cat.
I wonder if I can find my way to the kitchen from here. Maybe there's some fish back there.
And you said if I reach my hand out to it, it then has a physical
It
reaction,
then
right?
hisses and takes a swipe at you.
Okay.
Do you retreat or do you let the claws do their work?
I think I retreat the first time. And then I look at it and I'm like, let's take a leap of faith. Now I'm going to use my right hand again because being left-handed, I want my dominant hand to be ready for anything. So I'll hold my right hand out for it to get clawed at.
Wonderful. Pain unlike anything you've ever experienced before. And I think that's a good place to end it.
Can I ask one question about it, but so I don't forget for next week?
Sure.
If I look at the marks left over, right, from getting clawed at,
Mm-hmm.
do they look consistent with the size of the claws of the cat?
Make an insight check.
It's kicked. Where's my pencil? I'm going up to a 6.
Goodbye, Nuria.
Nuria. You looked at the fire, at the bookshelves, at your companions, at the cat. But ever since the fire stopped looking real, there's one place you never really looked. You didn't look at yourself. And now that you are, you realize a couple things. One, no, those cat's claws went deeper than they have any right to. Also, your skin is glitching. More than any of the others. But the wounds, those stay. Those are
The
real.
wounds don't seem to be glitching or anything?
Those are real.
Okay.
Because you come to a conclusion in this moment. A couple things
Let me
occur
grab
to
a
you at
notepad.
once.
I'm actually gonna write this down.
A few things hit you at once. Something is wrong. You feel cold. You haven't felt warm. Not cold enough that you die, per se, but cold enough that you are. Storage. You're being kept. And not just you. If everyone is glitching, then maybe nobody's real. And as that thought comes to you, I've sent you something in Messenger to read. Not now.
Oh.
Not immediately. But during the break. Because one thing is absolutely certain in your mind. Something happened, or rather two things are certain. Something happened. Something bad. To you. To you personally. And second, you are not Lady Nuria. You are not Lady Nuria. You are not Chong. Though you remember being Chong. You are not Citizen Dr. Eloise Hermbler.
I forgot that was the name of my first character.
Though you have those memories as well.
So I have the memories of Chong and Eloise.
Not all of them. Just what you went through. You are someone entirely different.
You can't see. Just because my webcam didn't pick it up, I just threw my pencil at your box on my computer, Steven.
You're welcome. We pull out of the PR era. Move back to the present, the tour group moving through the house in Dombe, far after the Arctic autumn. The group passing by a display case, filled with weapons. Swords, spears, everything. And a separate display case with the battle axe Caravox. The man with the holy symbol stares at it. Next to it, flowers. Just something to liven the place a little more. Weapons can be gory in their history at times. Familiar flowers. They have a name in a different language, but essentially they come down to blood of chaos. Aranway. You've been connected to these flowers for a long time. Not quite a god, not worshipped as one. Though for all your time helping these flowers grow, along with Vilya, the nymph, the dryad, you might as well be one. What are you thinking right now, as you are currently staring out of flowers at a tour group, watching a battle axe that you have watched for... Well, time lost its meaning a long time ago, if it ever had a meaning to begin with.
Wondering how those flowers end up here. And who thought that they were important enough to sustain and preserve in a place like this.
You feel the comforting touch of Vilya. It was her. It's always her. Thank you. I've said it so much, but I don't think I'll ever say it enough. Thank you.
Looking back on what happened, I don't think I would have done anything differently. But did you know how it would turn out with us here?
When we spoke, the woman who gave me my life down there, when she told me at the end, she said it would be part of something greater, that none of us would know it. That it would lead to what she hoped was salvation for Quelnar, even after the horrific destruction it would cause. And
These
she
people
said,
here,
hmm?
these people here, they don't seem prepared for the destruction. They don't know what they're about to face.
The destruction, the unavoidable destruction, it came and it went. This world flattened. But the worst destruction, the erasure of this world, you see that group?
I do.
They may never see it. Or they may cause it. These flowers here at the end, when I talked to her long ago, she gave me a choice. I could see how the end turned out, or I could slip into the oblivion of the flowers. I was gonna choose to lose myself. I would have chosen to lose myself if it weren't for you.
I'm glad you didn't. There's still a chance we can find out that there could still be more beyond.
Let's see the end of this story first. And then we'll try our next chapter. And you feel the familiar warmth of her just wrapping her arms around you. Head on your shoulder, peering over. As the two of you wait. Because as many entities who are watching this museum seem to have concluded, the end of this story of a plan literally eras in the making is coming to its conclusion. At least for them. And that is where we end our game. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, as always, to my players for putting up with my bullshit and my random attempts to creep them out and or confuzzle. Any plugs?
I always have mine, but I go last, so
This is true.
I should probably pick my story for today. I didn't do that to you.
It's very important to do in this moment.
Cyberpunk is
I
coming
can
back.
plug QuellmarCon for the 90th time. I can remember what dates they are.
We
I
got
can-
QuellmarCon coming up. We got Cyberpunk back on Monday.
In that
We have-
GomaCon plug, I can put in my own little sub plug.
If you're not actually doing it, don't do it.
I will be running a free game for people at QuellmarCon. First 30 people to sign up get it. It's a system I'm designing called Away. That's right, folks. You heard it first. I, Sadie, at QuellmarCon 2023 will be running Away.
None of this is accurate. It's going to be more like an extended game of hide and seek.
No, we have to hold her to it now. Away is happening at QuellmarCon this
It's
year.
on stream. I've said it.
So you're
On
going to
record,
QuellmarCon, right?
This is obviously legally binding.
Yep.
So if you're at QuellmarCon June 8th to 13th, coming up in Frederick, Maryland, sign up for Sadie's Game of Away.
Wait, what are the dates again?
8th through
June
13th.
8th to 13th.
I would like to retract my statement. My mother is getting married on the 9th. I will be unable to attend QuellmarCon
Uh-huh.
and run my new system Away, which just gives me another year to work on it. So next year, I'll be running Away.
Uh-huh.
Sadie's Game of Away is rescheduled to the 10th. On the schedule.
Anyway,
QuellmarCon merch is up now, so go buy it.
do it.
The mugs are sweet, and there are only 25 mugs available.
Only 25?
Mhm.
They are very nice. They're created by a Pennsylvanian artisan in Lancaster.
Yeah, they're great.
For our community. They're very lovely, and I'm already thinking very hard about ordering one. The next week is the season finale of First Class
Woohoo!
for year 2. That'll happen at 6 p.m. next Wednesday. We'll finish up, and then Kyle's finally done with our group shenanigans. Gets to move on to year 3, and that'll be fun. And then System Agnostic after that. Gosh, I'm in too many streams.
But hey,
we have so
depending
many
on
streams happening.
what you all choose to do, maybe next week's the end of Chapter 3. Who knows?
I hope not. I'm liking this chapter so far. I hope we survive a little bit longer. We do have I think we're the only stream happening on Quelmar this week, but we have 5 streams happening next week between Cyberpunk, this whatever the hell we're doing right now, System Agnostic. We have Untitled Mafia Project on Saturday.
Yeah, we do.
Still awaiting a formal
Yeah, we
name.
do.
Once Upon a
sixth one
Town
coming.
is on
Once Upon a
Tuesday, I
Town.
think.
Yep.
There's
So that's-
a 6th one coming when I start running economy class.
Yeah, we'll have a economy
Uh.
class, and it'll be 6 for 7 days next week or booked.
Yep.
But really, if you don't
you
have
know what?
Eldritch
I'll make it
Horror
7
in your
for 7.
game,
I'll start a stream where people can tune in and watch me build my new system Away.
Okay, good. We got a stream a day next
Nope.
week.
but
Stream it
if you don't have
every-
Eldritch Horror in your stream, what are we even doing with
I
your
just
life?
need the
really?
login info, and I totally won't
question.
mess with everything.
Absolutely not. We'll give it to
Anyway.
anybody.
Anyone got anything else?
Nope.
All right, Sadie, Spark Notes version, go.
Hi, people of Quilmar. I got two things I always talk about at the end of these plugs. The first one is my dating life. Absolutely no update there. Sorry, Brendan. You're just going to have to wait. Second thing, my friends and I started a TikTok channel. It's called the ADHD Morons. I'd say go give us a follow at 80HD_morons, but our account got hacked. We're trying to get it back or delete it so we can make a new one. Until then, I give you little segments of the comedy stuff that I put on there. We're trying to add a little happiness into the world. It's a dark place. Join us. All right. And now it's time for Silly Stories with Sadie, the part of TikTok where Sadie comes out and tells a silly story. If you took all of the veins in your body and you laid them out end to end, you'd probably die. This has been Silly Stories with Sadie, the part of TikTok where Sadie comes out and tells a silly story.
Yeah, that one I actually saw coming. That one I
Probably
knew.
die. I like those odds.
Probably.
All right, my friends.
Listen, as I say every day when someone, as I say every time when someone asks me, every day that I wake up is just another piece of evidence that I'm immortal.
I'm going to tell that attitude to my therapist.
I mean, we're all
Didn't your-
immortal
one
until
of your-
we're not.
Sadie,
My
one of your
therapist has told me
characters
that's
had
a
that
dangerous,
idea.
line of thinking that I should stop.
No,
Faith
Sadie, one of
denial.
your characters
I'm
had that
immortal.
idea, and she died.
Yeah. Anyway, tune in next week for another / the last chapter 3 episode of System Agnostic. I don't know. We'll find out. In the meantime, my friends, how do we end these?
We keep rolling a dice.
I'm
3d6
still
to be
rolling.
specific.
I've been rolling since last week because we got to keep doing it.
You gotta keep
rolled
doing
nine.
What is Sadie
I've
stabbing?
been getting a tally.